Good morning, friends. We are out here walking over to the garden. I'm trying to make my plan for the day. I'm going to get out here to do bush mowing and weed eating around things after everything gets dry. It's only like 57 degrees this morning. It's almost 7 o'clock now, and the dew is heavy, so it's going to take a little while for all this to dry up. But I'm trying to make a plan because this is my day that I'm going to get to be out here doing this, and I want to make sure I use it to the fullest. I'm so happy I went ahead and put this cardboard down even though I didn't get the wood chips down yet, because it's really helping with the weeds. Where up here I don't have anything suppressing the weeds, and it does not take long from this looking halfway decent to being a mess. So this area is definitely on the top of my list that I want to get cleaned up, because there is so many beautiful flowers and they're getting hidden by the weeds. I love all these sunflowers. They're tall and they have lots of heads on them. You can see two right there, and then at each leaf there's a new head that will be forming. The snapdragons are about done. I am going to snip them and see if we get anything else out of them, but I think they're pretty much spent for the year. They did really great and were beautiful. And then our onion row on my list for today, that I'm going to be pulling all of them. I pulled two and they were really nice size. I'm so happy with them. And then our cabbages are looking so-so. The bugs definitely got to some. This right here is a kale that went to seed and it's coming out today. My big goal after the weed eating and push mowing is to get this bed all done. I've had this tarp all summer, spring and summer, trying to help with the thistle issue we had. With the kids' help, I'm going to pull the tarp off, and you can see on the end there's 4 rows. So I'm going to pull it and I'm going to work it up, and this is going to be where I plant our fall beets and carrots. And then I'll put this cardboard, I've been wanting to use it. It's probably going to go over one of these 2 rows just to kind of help with the weeds. Since this has had this tarp over it, I really don't anticipate having to worry about weeds in the fall months. Our corn is almost ready to pick, and behind it there's a little bit of room, I'll show you in a second, that I had Matthew go ahead and rework up. I think I'm gonna stick some beans in there. I might stick them up here in another spot because we did have a rabbit, but I haven't seen it and I haven't seen any more damage from it, so I don't know if the dog scared it off or if it just moved on. But I'm gonna be planting beans because I'm usually done with beans at this time of year. I've usually done and filled our freezer for the year, and I actually have only done a few because our beans did so poorly. May we were watching for frost, and then we were also then had like 3 weeks of no rain, so it put things really far behind. And I did plant a few other times, but they just did not take. So I got brand new seed that is just a different kind that I haven't used. It's still that jade that we like, and I'm gonna get it in. There's still plenty of time for me to do beans. Beans don't take like as long as a tomato or a pepper, so I should be just fine to get them in the ground today and then be able to harvest them next month sometime. So here's our corn. You can see it's getting pretty darn close, and it looks like we might have had a visitor because some of this corn didn't look like that the other day. And some of our raspberries got knocked over. So I have to keep an eye on that. But this area back here, I'm gonna pull out these weeds that are right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and seed it with that jade green beans. I'm also gonna do another spot up in the front just in case this does get deer or rabbit after. The next spot we're gonna go see is the hoop house. I'm gonna show you, it's a jungle. I will not plant it like I did this year again, and I have some plans for our fall and winter in that space. Well, where do we even start with this? It's a mess in here, and next year I am definitely going to be tying up. We're going to put a pole so that this tomato mess over here doesn't happen again. And I need to come through and redo my strings on some of these to help hold them up. It really did help. I need to wrap them again so you can see where I wrap these around the branches, and you just kind of go around It's hard to do with one hand. And it holds your plant up. And then now that I have a better view of them, I can come through and clean up all these bottoms, and that'll really help things too. Over here, everything got big and heavy and has laid down. So it's just a mess, and we'll just take it as it is for this year. Definitely learning how to not do things next year. Once these tomatoes finish, I'm going to be sticking in like cauliflowers and kale, broccolis along here, because this already has holes, obviously, for the tomatoes to be in. On this side, Bo's going to help me, and we're going to put in like raised beds that are on the deck. They're just extra boxes from his work, and I'm hoping to put some carrots and things like that in there. If you've been here any length of time, you know I like to grow beautiful things. So when I was planning out the seeds that I wanted to plant for this fall, I wanted to make sure I still had colors. Even though fall does offer a lot of colors, I still wanted the colors in our food. So some of the plants that I went ahead and chose to do, the kale, cauliflower, some of the broccoli, they're purple because I just kind of lean towards purple things. And I will show you those in a few minutes because they're actually sprouting. I am so excited, but I'm going to stick in a picture of the varieties that I planted from last week. So right now the deck garden is looking really good still. The carrots, there's a few that are struggling. I might just go ahead and pull them out like Bo and I were talking. These are boxes from Bo's work that he brought home that they didn't need any longer. That's what I'm going to be taking out to the hoop house to plant in as well. But these ones, I'm going to do another row of carrots. They've done really well in these, and why not? I'm just going to go ahead and do like another row of carrots, and I'll probably stick in my peas because I need to put them somewhere that they can trellis, and that's what I was doing this spring until they got too hot and dry and then it didn't work. Oh, look at my beautiful yarrow. I'm gonna have to put it in a different spot next year. I'm gonna have to move it and thin it out. But I love it, and especially when it's evening and I have my little lights on. Oh, it's so cute. This, I'm going to be harvesting some today. This is Tulsi basil. These ones that I've already went to flower, I'm going to leave, but these other ones I'm going to take in and keep drying for different tea blends and things like that for the winter. This is a nasturtium. It's getting closer to blooming. This spot, I had planted another basil, but this is where the kids end up playing, the little boys, so it's really not doing anything. I'm going to clean this out. This plant died. I'm going to clean this out, and I don't know, I might put in some more peas through here as well. My sage is looking really good. I'm excited about all this new growth. I've been trying to harvest it. I was just reading last night that sage, when you go to dry it, can get a musty smell, so I'm going to keep reading and seeing what the best way to store this, because I want to make sure I have plenty of that as well. Okay, this is my kohlrabi bulb, and I'm hoping to plant some more in here because it did very well as long as I kept the space watered. So I'm going to top it off. I am going to get a little bit more dirt, top it off, and put that in there so that I'll be able to use that as well. These are just beautiful, love them. I don't think I'm going to plant anything else in this after we finish this tomato. This tomato's really been struggling. It's got some leaves that are dying. They're really curled up. I'm just not sure it was a good choice to put it in here. I was hoping it would do good on the deck here, but it's really struggling. So I'm going to definitely put new dirt in it and just let it rest over winter. I'm not going to do anything with it. And over here, this eucalyptus is trying its little hardest. I need to maybe get some more fresh dirt. This one's got lots of new branches coming off of it, but it's not getting real big. Now this one is got less branches and it's getting bigger. So what I might do is take some of these off so that the energy can go towards building a stronger plant and not all these little plants as well. Look at this basil, isn't it cute? Like some of the kids took it up on here because I had a covering, which I'll put back on when it gets frosty to help like protect it. I took it off because it was just getting beat up from the storms we had. So this all was lettuce. I pulled it all out because it was going to seed and just not looking very good. I am going to stick more in here. This little guy's not looking too bad if I clean it up a little bit. And then this will just be more lettuces. Now to my green stock. Some stuff's looking good. I did just stick some new seeds in here, so I'm hoping they take off real soon. And it looks like I even got a little bit of bug damage on these, so I'll have to go through and see what's going on. I'm probably going to strip out some of this stuff. The older lettuces are not looking as good, and I'm just putting new in it. And with it being close to the house, it should be protected enough that even into the fall season, with light frost, I think some of the stuff will do good. Plus, Swiss chard's used pretty hardy, and so I'm going to just make sure what I stick in is hardier stuff. That pretty much wraps up our deck garden. I'm going to try to put in things that can handle a little bit of a frost because I don't really have a lot of protection other than that one spot that I showed you. That'll be able to take a little bit more if it has that covering to protect it. I'm really just hoping to maximize this space more than I have in the past for fall and into winter. The hoop house, I'm really going to be focusing on like cauliflowers, broccolis, and things like that kales, things like that can handle the cold but will have that protection from the frost actually hitting it. It's not super sealed. It's not like a greenhouse where it's gonna keep things super warm, but a lot of those things can handle the cold as long as it's got some sort of protection around it, which reminds me, we'll probably put straw around some of the plants just to help insulate things a little bit. This main garden will be just things that can also handle the cooler days and nights. We still have like October, beginning of November before we typically get a real strong, heavy frost. So I'm gonna make sure whatever's out here can handle a little bit, or I have plenty of time to do those shorter day things. Now, I was listening to somebody else talking about the fall garden. Because of the cooler nights and days that are not quite as long, you want to make sure you calculate extra time in your growing season because it's going to take things longer to grow. That's another reason we're having a garden day today, and I'm getting them seeds in the ground and cleaning things up and seeing where I can put things, because if I don't get it in, it's the beginning of August, I'm not going to get those things in and get anything off of them. I've been wanting to do like a real full fall garden for a while, and I'm actually at the point where I don't have like these little babies and it's summer. It's just been exhausting and I don't feel like doing it, so I'm going full force this year. I'm so excited about it. I just told somebody, I'm like, I see my stuff sprouting that I planted last week. I'm pumped. The summer garden has just really been slow and not as productive as other years. My cucumbers, I was saying, didn't do very good. My zucchinis and squashes are not so great. Watermelons are finally like taking off and starting to do something, but I just don't know what we're gonna get out of any of that stuff because it's been so slow going, which I believe is kind of what I'm seeing. I just read another post which I was just reading another post where somebody was saying how far behind, and even maybe MI Gardner said 30% of things are behind, which is a lot when you think about we only have this little bit of a growing season, and to put things pushed back that much, that kind of adds up a little bit. So we're just going to make do with what we have, and we'll see how things go. Our potatoes are looking good. I think I've noticed some of them are dying back, so we'll be able to start digging them before too long. I'm hoping we get a good picking out of them. I'm hoping that this next round of beans I do does a lot because I am out. I don't have any beans. We've been out for months. It's just kind of where we are. And I'm not like super stressed about it. I'm not like super like overwhelmed and stressed about it. It is what it is, and I can't do anything to change it. I did try to plant things several times and it just didn't do. So we'll see how this goes. I'm hoping for a good fall garden and to be able to maybe extend our season a little bit. That hoop house, I'm thinking, is going to really help things along as well, and we'll see what we get out of it. So all of that to say, I hope that you choose to grow something beautiful, even if it doesn't turn out the way you envision it, which I just told somebody my flowers this year did not turn out the way I envisioned it, but we're making do with what we got, and it's all learning. I can put that in a memory bank. I can write that all down, how things worked, what worked good, what didn't work, and just move forward with next year. But you shouldn't be afraid to even stick the seed in the ground. See what roots, see what takes hold and does something for you. Seeds want to grow, and there's so many opportunities to find beautiful things in our surroundings. don't be afraid to just stick them, even if it's in your flower bed. When I was reading it, I was like, oh yeah, I planted carrots and onions and things in there before, and I think cabbages too, and it all grew. Plus, it was right beside the house. It was easy to get to, and it had that protection because it was close to the house. So just stick a few seeds in a pot in your flower bed and see what grows. You might be surprised at how beautiful it is and how much joy it brings you. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get off here, finish making my list so I don't forget anything that I want to get planted today. And I'm going to start our day. I hope you plant something this fall, even if it is just a little bit of peas or some carrots, and that you find beautiful things to grow. Until next time, bye, friends.